This is for Fortune's Psych-001 class, and this is my classical conditioning experiment. Conditioning is a process by which organisms learn, and classical conditioning specifically is a process by which organisms learn to associate stimuli that occur together that can produce different behaviors or responses. There are certain parts of classical conditioning that are important. There is a neutral stimuli, a unconditioned stimuli, an unconditioned response, and then a conditioned stimuli and conditioned response. And these are all play a part in classical conditioning. The neutral stimuli is some event or something that happens that does not impact the organism at all. It doesn't create a change. And unconditioned stimuli is something that the organism has not learned to recognize. An unconditioned response is a response to a stimuli that an organism hasn't learned, such as a dog getting excited or salivating when food happens. And then an unconditioned stimuli would be the food. It hasn't learned to recognize food, it does. In classical conditioning, you pair a neutral response with an unconditioned response, such as ringing a bell and presenting a dog with food. And you do that repeatedly, and the dog will repeatedly salivate when you present it with food. After a while, however, the neutral stimulus becomes a conditioned stimulus, and when you ring the bell, the dog will salivate even though there is no food present. Now that salivation becomes a conditioned response, the dog has learned that the bell usually means there's food. In this experiment, I'm driving with my wife in the car and I'm coughing, which is the neutral stimulus, and I'm hitting the brakes when I cough, which is an unconditioned stimulus. This was done safely on empty roads. There's nobody behind us. But we're going to see if I can condition my wife to react when I cough, even when I don't brake. Her unconditioned response would be bracing herself or reacting to me in some way, like scolding me or giving me a dirty look. And we'll see how it goes. Did you get that one? There we go. That was an example of classical conditioning. I conditioned my wife so she associated me coughing with needing to stabilize herself, and she also gave me a dirty look. To review, the neutral stimulus was me coughing. The unconditioned stimulus was me braking. Her unconditioned response was stabilizing herself and giving me a dirty look. When I combined the neutral stimulus and the unconditioned stimulus and repeated it, I turned the neutral stimulus into a conditioned stimulus and the unconditioned response into a conditioned response. So when I coughed, she stabilized herself, gave me a dirty look, even though I didn't brake the car. For Fortune's Psych-001 class, and this is my operant conditioning experiment. Operant conditioning is another process of learning, just like classical conditioning, except it's done a little differently. Operant conditioning is a way we learn new things. And operant conditioning is a process by which organisms learn behaviors and their associated consequences. These consequences are reinforcers, reinforcements, and punishments. And each of those have positives and negatives. A positive reinforcement is something good given or added, so a desired behavior will continue. And a negative reinforcement is where a bad item or stimuli is removed so that a desired behavior will continue. Punishment is a little different. A positive punishment is something bad added to the situation to decrease a undesirable behavior, and a negative punishment is a removal of something good to stop an undesired behavior. This experiment, I'm having my brother try and pick cards using positive and negative reinforcement. The positive reinforcement is when he picks a good card, the card I want, I give him a cracker. And the negative reinforcement is when he picks the right card and I remove his blindfold so he's able to make more right choices. Now let's see how it goes. I'm going to lay 4 cards down in front of you, and you are going to have to pick the right card or cards. And you are handicapped, but if you pick the right cards, you might get something. So I'll put the cards down and then let you feel them. Put your hand out. Turn it over. It's first card, second card, third card, fourth card. There's the cards. So pick a card. All right. I'm going to take the blindfold off. You pick the right card.
Yay!
All right, now put it down. Now pick another card. 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 Pick another one. Pick another one. Pick one more card. As you can see from that experiment, through operant conditioning, we can control behavior through the consequences. My brother was more likely to pick those red cards because he was hungry, he got crackers. And he was able to see those because their blindfold was removed. So to review, I used positive and negative reinforcement to try and get him to pick the red cards. When he picked a red card originally, I took off his blindfold so he could see and really learn. And when he picked another red card, I'd give him a cracker every time. So there we go.